Can you buy a brand new RV of any kind and not have a single problem with it? Nope. Keystone failed on that test. So did the Winnebago we just owned. You need to be handy if you're going to buy an RV. Luckily, most people can rewire a circuit board, craft a shelf, overhaul a water pump. Oh wait, just kidding. Most can't. Well, anyway, we still love our travel trailer, even if I have to make a full-time job out of being my own technician. Maybe Keystone will hire me to solve their problem since Winnebago hasn't yet. What have I done to the Keystone so far for repairs and upgrades? Well, fortunately, the repairs list isn't too long so far. First, I had to replace the water heater electric element. This was a pretty easy fix. First, you relieve the pressure in the system, take out the anode, remove a few screws for the electric element cover, remove a couple wires, and take it out. Putting it back together was pretty simple as well. Next, we ran into a major design flaw from Keystone. Up in the front of the trailer, there's a storage compartment where the water system sits, so the water pump is right there. Keystone has designed this travel trailer to have a heated and insulated underbelly. Problem is, the heat doesn't get up to where the water pump and those pipes are. There's a really small hole for the pipes to go down into the floor where it's heated. So this design flaw caused the water pump and the pipes to actually freeze right there. I actually had to put a little electric heater in the storage space. Once it thawed, I was able to get the system working again, but this is a major issue. If you're buying this particular model for the heated and insulated underbelly, and the main part of your water system is going to freeze because of it, I don't know what they were thinking. Another issue is with the power tongue jack. When you hook up a vehicle, whether it's a pickup truck or an SUV, you can't open the tailgate or open the rear hatch on the vehicle without it hitting the actual box. Simply remove a couple bolts, lift it up, spin it around. Your controls are facing backwards, but then at least you can open your tailgate or your rear hatch on your vehicle. The other issue with this is you can't use the plastic propane cover anymore, so I had to get a soft vinyl one to slip over it. Not the end of the world, but this should have been thought about at the actual planning stage of this trailer and other trailers that are like this. One of the things we were hoping for going from the Winnebago Class C to this big travel trailer was extra storage. Well, we don't really gain that. And unfortunately, unless you're in a big fifth wheel with lots of under storage, you really need more space than what these travel trailers are offering. So this one came with a rear storage compartment that had a little small fridge and a pull-out grill in it. I had to remove those because I needed the extra storage for the generator. Who doesn't need a generator when you have a travel trailer? Most people want to use these things off the grid, as we did. So I took those out and used that space underneath the rear bunk for extra storage. Generator fits in there perfectly, and we're able to store a bunch more stuff. We lost the little fridge, don't really care about that. And the grill, I'm actually hauling separately by putting it in the front storage compartment and taking it out at campsites when we want to use it. The beauty of that is it actually has the propane hose already hooked up to it, and right underneath that storage compartment in the rear, there's a hookup for the propane. Works conveniently for the propane powered generator that we have. What are some of the upgrades that we've done on this thing? Well, there's a lot of stuff that were really kind of necessity. It wasn't really a want, it was more of a need. Here's what we've done so far. Now this trailer comes with a faucet that is stationary. We've had this in the last one and really wanted one of those pull-down ones, so I installed that. It was pretty simple. Every single one of these RVs that you find have a different setup for the hoses, so I had to go to the store and get a couple adapters to make it work. Yours might even be different than mine. None of them seem to be the same. It's crazy. Next, we really wanted a high-flow shower head. This was also a pretty simple job. Quick thread underneath the actual faucet knobs, and now we've got a high-flow shower head.
I recall Central Park in fall, how you tore your dress, what a mess, I confess.
The bedroom TV mount was also something that is nicely done by Keystone. There's a stud in the wall, and they marked it. This is really easy just to put your bracket up, a couple of screws, and now you've got a TV in your bedroom.
Yep. I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
The bunk bed padding is something else that needs to be taken care of immediately. The very first night, our son noticed that the pad is basically about as thick as a piece of bread. So we bought some foam padding to go over the top of that, and it's helped out quite a bit. But this is something that they can't talk up and say that, oh, this is a really nice soft teddy bear series pad in the back for the bunk beds. It's horrible. It's really hard. Also, the lower bunk bed that has the small dinette needs better lighting. Well, there's none in there, in fact. So I installed a couple of just real simple LED battery operated lights. Sewer hose storage is something else. We always run into the issue of having to put it in a container, and then that actually kind of stinks up the storage compartment that you're storing it in, even if you clean it out to the best of your ability. So what I did on this one was actually order a sewer hose storage compartment. This can be installed underneath the RV, although I currently have it mounted to the rear bumper, with just some zip ties for the moment. It opens on both ends, and the hose fits in there nicely. The only problem is the adapters don't fit in there, so you have to store them separately. The KEYPAD door lock was something else that we really wanted to do. This is so convenient, and it was so easy to install. There's only 4 screws on the back side of it, 2 more screws on the side, and it literally just slips in and out. It also has another really nice feature where you can push the 7 and 8 button and enter at the same time as you're exiting, and it just immediately locks the door for you. This trailer also comes with a backup camera upgrade area. Furrion is the brand that the trailer is actually partnering with, but I chose to go with a different setup. This one has a little monitor that sits up in the vehicle, and it's a simple push of a button and it turns on. Completely adjustable to find the right angle that you want. Let's talk about the solar prep setup for a minute. Where do I begin? Here's what I found as I was searching Keystone models and their solar options before we purchased this one. Keystone claims they've partnered with Zamp Solar to provide an OTG, off-the-grid solar prep package for all of their trailers. Well, mainly for the Montana fifth wheels specifically, and I'll explain that in just a sec. What I found as I was doing some searching is that each one of these trailers seemed to have a different solar setup. One was called Solar Prep, another one was called Solar Wired, another one was called Solar Inverter Prep, another one said it had a solar panel roof port prep with no inverter prep, then there was the solar roof port prep, but blah 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 blah. Okay, here's what we ended up with in ours, which is one of the 472 different variations you're going to find in Keystone. That's the problem. So when you go to contact them or anyone else to find out what exactly you have, they don't know. The dealership doesn't know. So I discovered in ours, it's actually called the Solar Inverter Prep. What we got was a roof port with 2 ports on it to plug in a couple of solar panels. The red and black wires were run down through the wall, and they exit in the front storage compartment behind a little plastic bubble. That's great. What they don't disclose to you is that there's a white Romex style wire running down there as well. And this is making a loop, going from the panel box to your 3 outlets within the RV that are actually powered by the inverter. Okay, so basically what this means is you cut this wire, you stick in the inverter, it runs basically a loop through there. If you get one that has the auto transfer, then you can actually plug in and it will recognize that you're plugged into shore power and let those outlets run off of shore power. Otherwise, if you don't have one that has the auto transfer switch in it, or you have a separate one installed, it's basically just going to have the inverter running those 3 outlets. What I was really after is I wanted to have the wires run down the wall from the roof port. I don't care if anything else was installed. But what I was discovering is as I checked with these different Keystone models, they seem to have so many different variations that you're not going to find a straightforward answer from anybody. So you might just have to do a little digging for yourself, as I did. What we've got up on the roof are 2 170 watt SunPower panels. They're run into that junction box, wires are run down the wall. I've installed a solar charge controller by Zamp. Now, common misconception is that you need to have an inverter immediately in the setup. You don't. The inverter is only there to run the 3 outlets within the RV. If you just want to trickle charge your batteries, you can just have the setup where you've got the solar panels and a solar charge controller, and it's trickle charging the batteries. That's really what we wanted, as we mainly just want the fridge to be powered as we're doing a lot of off-the-grid camping. And then the last step, the cat scale. Everybody wants to know the weight of their rig. So once everything was finally loaded, we were able to pay $12 directly from the app, and all of the information was sent directly to my phone, including the one piece of information I was really after, the gross weight. What is everything combined, and what do I have left to work with? So, as you explore options out there and you're looking for Keystones, you might find quite a few variations. Rest assured, we are extremely happy with the quality and the build for the most part on this particular unit. Just a little frustrating that the manufacturing facilities aren't in a little bit better partnership with their partners as they're installing some of these components, and the dealerships are definitely not informed of what the heck they're getting. So do your research, just explore a little bit more, ask a lot of questions as I did, and you'll get some good answers from doing your own research. Hope that helps.